Welcome back, guys. I saw a post on Facebook on the sprintcarfan.com page there. Somebody posted something like, oh man, there's 130 410 sprint cars racing tonight. And this was on Saturday night. And a couple people started posting on the comments section that, well, what about this track? What about this track? Oh my goodness, we're over 200. And I figured I would go into it and kind of look here at how many cars actually raced as far as 410 wing sprint cars across the country. How many actually raced on Saturday night on May 18th this past weekend? Now, there were a couple tracks that were off or series, like High Limit was supposed to race up in New York. That didn't happen. Lincoln Speedway in Pennsylvania, they had the weekend off. So there was definitely some series and some tracks. Maybe there was a rain out here or there. But this is what I've got here. I've got it all up on the board. And at the end, I'll write down how many cars there were. And then for you guys to just comment down below, do you think this is a good number? I think it's pretty strong. But we'll get to that here at the very end. So we'll jump right into it. So, actually, real quick, before I get into it, well, this actually all started when Blake Anderson actually put out a tweet probably 2 weeks ago, maybe. And he said, man, there's 127, I think it was 127 cars that are racing this weekend as far as 410 goes at Knoxville and Skagit and the Outlaws and High Limit, whatever. And I was like, okay. And I put that on a news board and put out a video about it. And now I want to kind of look at it here every now and again on Saturday nights and see what it looks like. So, starting things off, POWRi 410 sprint cars at I-70 Motorsports Park in Missouri. There were 8 cars. Somebody explain to me what happened there. I'm not sure why there was only 8 cars that showed up for this race, but Ayrton Geniton was the winner in car number 3. But 8 cars, not a very good start to this board, but it still counts, right? Port Royal Speedway on Saturday night had 36 cars show up, and Tyler Courtney ended up being the winner. So Port Royal on this board, second most cars of any series or track that was racing. Also, we had the World of Outlaws at Sharon Speedway. They took the cake with 45 sprint cars racing over there, and David Gravel was the winner. Now, when we make our way over to California and the West Coast, the NARC sprint cars at Tulare had 26 entries, and Shane Golobic was the winner of that one. And at Skagit Speedway up in Washington, they had 19 410 sprint cars. Landon Brooks was the winner up there in Skagit. Over at Knoxville Raceway, they had 29 410s that night, and it was Garrett Williamson getting his first ever Knoxville Raceway 410 win. And then over at the IRA in Plymouth, Wisconsin, they had 32 cars show up for that race, and Blake Nimme was the winner in car number 79. And then the Fast Series was racing at Kentucky at the Florence Speedway. Kind of random. I did not know that Fast went to Kentucky, but they had a pretty solid car count. They had 28 cars show up for that one, and Cole Duncan, a little bit off the porch, he got the win at Florence Speedway in the 22 car. Butler Speedway in Michigan, they had 14 cars. They usually have, I think they have a 410 weekly show there every single Saturday night, and it was Bryce Lucius getting the win, making the trip up from Ohio to get the win there at Butler. And then at Wayne County Speedway here in Ohio, there were 20 cars showed up for that one, and Ricky Peterson was the winner over there at Wayne County Speedway. So obviously, this has a bunch of numbers on the board. You might be thinking that's not very many, whatever. But let's put it on the board here as a total of how many cars there actually were as far as 410s go. And this is not, I just said it. It's only 410s. We're not talking about 360s. We're not talking about 305s, because if we're counting all those, I know that there was 360s at Tulare, there were 360s at Knoxville. There were probably 360s at some of these other racetracks as well. But we're just talking about 410s, right? That's the main sprint car class in the country, right? So the total amount of wing 410 sprint cars in the country on Saturday night was 257 cars. That's pretty darn good, I feel like. 257 410s, considering potential rainouts, considering High Limit had the weekend off up in New York, and we were getting over 35 cars up there. Lincoln Speedway in PA had the weekend off. I don't know, man. We could have been over 300 cars, I think. No problem. Now, on the bottom right portion of the board, I have the 410 non-wing racing that happened over the weekend as well. And I figured, it's still a 410 sprint car. It's still a 410 engine. Might as well at least throw these guys on the board and give them a little love as well. Over on the non-wing side of thing, Boss Sprint Cars also raced at Florence as well. They had 19 cars there. Ricky Lewis was the winner. Also at Butler Speedway, the GLTS non-wing cars were running, and Steve Irwin was the winner. There were 26 cars at that one. The USAC MWRA was racing at Electric City. Wyatt Burks was the winner. They had 15 cars in that one. LPS, Lincoln Park Speedway in Indiana, had one of their weekly shows. Harley Burns was the winner, and there were 27 cars there. And then Paragon, Indiana, Jake Scott got the win at that non-wing race, 22 cars there, and a total of 109 non-wing 410 racing or non-wing 410 drivers were racing over the weekend on Saturday alone. So 257 plus 109. I don't know what the math is on that. It is over 350 410 sprint cars, though, that were racing at some point or another on Saturday night, May 18th. So I feel like that's a really good number. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with this. I'm not sure what the goal of this is. Maybe we'll look at this every now and again and see how it fluctuates throughout the year, see what the highest count was in 2024. Right now, it is 257 for the Wing 410s on a single night of racing across the country. So hopefully you guys found this video somewhat interesting, and maybe we'll do this a little bit more. Let me know down in the comments section below if you want me to do this a little bit more often. Also, hit that subscribe button downstairs. That is it is free. It is a free thing to do to hit the subscribe button. Also, it is free to hit the like button. Appreciate all your guys' support, and we'll talk to you again here soon.